Hey y'all. I know y'all been coming for me. I've been getting some DMs from y'all like, first of all, Ellie, why haven't you been doing your More Money Mondays? It's been like 3 weeks. Where are you? Where is the word? So, I'm sorry. But let me just say this, okay? The reason I had not been on my More Money Mondays, and y'all know, for the last 25 weeks, okay? With the absence of these last 3 weeks, for the last 25 weeks, I've been coming here, giving it to y'all every Monday. Inspiration, motivation, everything you need to start your week. But I'm gonna be real with you guys. When I got sick, I was like, I don't have a word in me. I'm stressed out. I'm trying to get better. You know, I was really questioning, like, what is the lesson here? You know, for those of you who are new here, because we do have a lot of new people, More Money Mondays are our way to kick off the week. When you win your Mondays, you win your weeks. When you win your weeks, you win your months. And when you win your months, you win your life. So every Monday, we start off with the word. We start off with a motivation. And usually this inspiration comes to me on the weekend, or at some point God sends me a message and he says, this is what you need to talk about on Monday. But y'all, when I was not feeling well, I was like, God, are you mad at me? You know, like, I'm the type, when something happens, I very much think about what it means, because there's no such thing as a coincidence. Everything that happens or does not happen in our life, there's a meaning behind it. We are, you know, God is holding us like this. So everything that happens or doesn't happen, there's something we're supposed to learn. So when I had my stomach infection and I was just not feeling well, it really took me a minute to just analyze what God needed me to understand from my illness. And for that reason, I was like, I don't know if I have a word to give to my community, because I'm still trying to give a word to myself. I'm still trying to listen and reflect on what God is needing me to understand. And a couple things that I thought about were, first of all, stress and ingratitude take the shape of illness, okay? So these are the first things that started to come to me as I really sat over these last few weeks to reflect. Stress and ingratitude take the form of illness. And specifically, when you look at acupuncture studies, when you look at Chinese medicine, when you just study the ways in which your brain internalizes stress and feelings of not having enough, it all goes into your stomach. It goes into your gut. Y'all, I was reading, researching, and this is a fact. The feelings of stress and inadequacy result in stomach issues. So sometimes it can manifest as indigestion. Sometimes it can manifest as a stomach ache. Sometimes it can be, you know, a full stomach infection. Sometimes, God forbid, it can go a whole lot further. So I said, And here's the other thing, y'all. I was the only one to get sick. You know, my family and I, my husband, my kids, we had just come back from a resort vacation. And the day that I really started to get sick, my husband and I went to lunch together. And we ate the same thing. You know, I ate off of his plate, he ate off of my plate. But I was the only one in the family to catch a stomach problem. So I really had to sit and say, God, what are you wanting to show me? And can I get real with y'all? Comment yes in the chat if I can get real with y'all. Comment yes in the chat if I can get real with y'all. Because, you know, we're basically family at this point. All 560,000 of y'all are like my extended cousins, okay? Let me pin this comment. And y'all share this live too, because I feel like people really need this message. please share this live because people need this message. And I'm not gonna stop talking about this until I make sure all 560,000 of y'all have heard it. So I need to be real with y'all. I had to really look and say, so what stress and feelings of ingratitude and feelings of inadequacy, are coming up in me to where I'm the only one out of all these people in my family who ended up with this stomach problem, who ended up with a manifestation of ingratitude and stress. And, I really had to do some soul searching. And here's the thing, y'all. I have not been fully grateful for my blessings. And so what happens is, and this is something that you may be experiencing too, and you may not be realizing, when good things happen to us, we forget about the fact that we prayed for these things. When good things happen to us, we forget about the fact that we prayed for these things. I started my business in 2020 with no money. I took a $1,200 stimulus check and turned it into a multi-seven-figure company in a year. I was divorced, single mother, living at home with my mom. I moved out, got my own place, bought more than 3 real estate properties, and met a new man. Got remarried. This man loves my kids beyond anything that I could ever imagine. That is their dad, okay? Fully taken them in, just loves them. He's fine, he's tall, he's successful, he's an entrepreneur, he's a good person. We're married, had a beautiful wedding. I live here in Senegal, West Africa, across the world. Moved my business across the world. We live in a beautiful place across the street from the beach. My kids have a 2-parent household. My bills are on auto pay. But I still complain. I still wake up stressed. I still wake up thinking about the things I don't have. I still worry. Comment yes in the chat if you still worry. Comment yes in the chat if you still worry every day, if you're still stressed, if you still have moments where you complain about the things that you don't have, not realizing that you are living a prayer that you once used to pray. And so when I was sitting up there in this hospital bed, and my husband, he asked them to bring a mattress so he could at least be comfortable on the floor. He was there with me the whole 5 days. I'm sitting up in this hospital bed. I can't work, not creating content, just in a funk. I'm looking at my husband and I'm like, oh yeah, I guess it's cool. He's here. That's my ride or die, whatever. I'm just so negative. And I really had to sit and think, and it took some time for this to come to me, but I said, wow, you know what, God? This manifested in a stomach issue because you had to remind me that I am currently living prayers that I used to pray. I am currently living what I used to ask you for. And God was probably a little mad at me. He was like, oh, okay. So you got the business, you got the money, you got the husband, you got the stepdad, you got living across the world, you got the community, your kids are good, you got all the things that you made this list about, Ellie, in 2020, but some days you got an attitude. Some days you waking up forgetting to thank me first. God was like, oh, hold on. Because what you're not going to do is sit here and act like you didn't ask for this. And I need us to pay attention because no matter what your situation is right now, you are currently living at least one prayer you used to pray. At least one. At least one. You may not have everything on your list. God has timing for that. But you are currently living at least one prayer that you used to pray. So God was like, oh, so you're living a lot of prayers that you used to pray, but you still want to be complaining. But you still want to focus on what you don't have. But you still want to be undisciplined. But you still want to have self-imposed stress. And here's what I want you to understand, y'all. Stress is going to come, right? It is a normal part of life. But what God doesn't understand is your self-imposed stress. God is like, why are you stressing when I'm the one who's going to come through and help see this all the way? Why are you stressing, but at the same time, you're asking me for my help? So, Ellie, you have this self-imposed stress about what you're going to do, how you're going to do it, this and this, that, da, 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 da. But haven't I already shown you that I'm answering your prayers? Haven't I already shown you that I'm rewarding your faith and your discipline? So why are you putting this self-imposed stress on yourself, which is causing you to have an attitude with me and causing you to be a negative Nancy during the daytime, and your prayers are getting a little shorter to me? And I've already shown you that I'm here with you. I said, oh, okay. I see what you did there, God. Okay, that was hard. You were a little hard on me. This is how I be talking to, Big G, the homie. I'm like, okay, that was a little harsh. All right, it didn't have to be a stomach infection, You could have just gave me a little tummy ache. I didn't have to be in the hospital for 5 days. Like, that was a little bit much. Okay, but fine. I see your points. Okay. Lesson learned. We got it. Okay, you didn't have to do all that, but okay, I got you. And so one thing that came through as I was sitting in the hospital, my husband and I were having a conversation about, business. We talk about business all the time, right? And so we were just talking about that for a lot of people, making money is hard. And I was feeling like, what am I going to do? How am I going to bounce back? I have a team and they're amazing, but I'm a very integral part of my businesses. So I was really like, I'm losing time. I'm being in here. What am I going to do? How am I going to get back up? Just thinking all the things. And here's one thing I want you all to understand. Never lose your sense of gratitude, because even when you start to earn more, you're always going to feel like it's not enough. When you make that first 100K, you're going to start thinking, well, how do I make more? When you hit that first million, you're going to start thinking, well, how do I make more? When you hit that first 5 million, you're going to start thinking, well, how do I make more? And mind you, this is coming from someone who I used to have $300 in my bank account, stressing and complaining about how to make another $5 million. And so I say that to say, it's going to happen. You're going to feel this incessant need to make more money. But I want to remind you right now, before you hit the 7 figures, before you hit the 5 million, before you hit the 10 million, practice a deep sense of gratitude so that you can be present and aware of the fact that, wow, I used to pray for $250,000 and now I have it. So God, allow me to pursue making another $250,000 from a place of gratitude and not from a place of greed. Allow me to go forward and make another $5 million, not from a place of greed, but from a place of gratitude, from a place of thank you, God, for showing me how to make $5 million one time. Now, God, I would like to humbly ask you that you show me how to make $5 million a second time. That's a different energy. And so I want you guys to remember that early on, because that is something that I, as an entrepreneur, have had to go back and forth with, of being grateful for where you are, but also being very cognizant of the fact that there's a spirit of greed around this country and around entrepreneurs. And we have to be very careful to remind ourselves, I want to make money because I'm grateful for what it can do for me in my life, not I want to make money because I'm greedy and I just want more. We want to be God-centered entrepreneurs. We want to have God-based wealth. And so when I started thinking and talking to my husband in the hospital, and I was like, yeah, making money is hard, this voice came in my head and was like, no, it's not. Why would you say that? Making money isn't hard. What is hard is having God. What is hard is having discipline. What is hard is having faith. What is hard is having consistency. What is hard is continuing to pray and continuing to look for the next best thing, even when times are dark. That is hard. But making money, which is just a representation of abundance that God already put on us. Wait, I need to read y'all something. Just hold on one second. Oh gosh, I hope I can find it. I was reading my Quran the other day, but I hope I can find the paragraph that I want to show you guys. Hold on. Dang. I don't know if I highlighted it, y'all. But in short, oh, hold on. No, I'm doing my good. Okay, I was trying to read you guys a verse from the Quran that I read 2 days ago, and it blew my mind. But in short, what it said is, so making money isn't hard, right? Money is just a manifestation of the abundance that God has promised you. And what this verse said is, God created all these things on earth for us. God designed everything that is here for us to always be abundantly provided for. Always. That is by design. That is your birthright. It's for you. And money, currency, is just something that we created essentially to bottle up, to hold that abundance. So making money, having money, isn't hard because it was already promised to you. Abundance was already promised to you. What is hard is having God. What is hard is having faith. What is hard is having discipline. What is hard is having consistency. What is hard is having, almost crazy faith in what you're doing and continuing to do it. Because I want to tell you guys something, no matter where you're starting from, and I can tell you this from starting with nothing, the more you pursue something, the more you go after it, the more consistent you are, the more you continue to ask for guidance, the more you continue to talk to God, but still put one foot in front of the other and move forward, you are going to see a result. It is going to happen. There is no if, and, or but about it. Your action leads to results. The only differentiator is the amount of time in between. That's it. So getting the money is not a matter of if you're going to get it. It's a matter of when you're going to get it. I want you guys to comment in the chat, I will make money. Just comment that in the chat. Just say that to yourself. I will make money. Because that isn't the challenge, actually. The money, the sales, that's not the hard part. The hard part is having God, is having discipline, is having faith, is having courage, is deciding to get up and keep going. That is what is hard. That is what is hard. But the money, that is not the hard part. And so we have to stop creating that limitation and recognize that God, it was never in God's intention for you to be poor. It was never in God's intention for you to not have enough. That is something man-made. Lack and poverty is something that we put on each other as people because of capitalism, mostly. Okay, that is, God did not create us. It's in every text, whether you read a Quran or you read a Bible or whatever it is that you read. God did not create us to suffer. That was not a part of the design. We put that on ourselves. So first of all, get that out of your mind that you are up against something. There is nothing that can stand in your way when you are operating from the place of God sent me here and I'm going to walk with God, be disciplined, have faith, have courage, be consistent, and I'm going after what my God-given birthright is. Who can stop you? Who can stop you? And if you think about it, even on a bigger scale, right? I talk about God all the time. But if you are someone who is still building your journey in faith and who is still building your relationship with God, if we were to even remove God from the picture and just talk about the principles of continuing to stay disciplined, continuing to stay courageous, continuing to have faith in yourself, continuing to believe that there are forces working in your favor, you're going to see results. You're going to see results. You don't give yourself enough credit. We all don't give ourselves enough credit. You have to understand that God quite literally created you, me, all of us with the human brain that is unlike any other creation on this planet. You have the ability to create, to take an idea and create something. And let's talk about ideas. How many of y'all, I want you to just comment yes or no in the chat. How many of y'all have had an idea and for whatever reason you didn't do it? You know, it was an idea and it's like, oh, you know, you thought about it for a while, but either you didn't do it or you haven't done it. And then maybe a year goes by or 10 years go by, 3 years, however much time goes by. And all of a sudden, someone else is doing your idea. Like you see it on TV, or maybe you see it on social media, or you see it at your local grocery store. Like, has this happened to you? Right? Okay, I'm seeing a lot of yeses, 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 yeses. So let me tell you that's something God told me about ideas. What I believe is that ideas are these little gifts from God, and they visit us. So when you're sitting, sometimes, you know, you might be sitting out at night before you go to bed, or maybe it's early in the morning, or maybe it's just a random point in the day when you're very relaxed. These ideas are almost these little flowers, if you will, from God. And they come and they visit different hosts. So this idea comes down from God because God says, okay, here's all my creations And all of these creations, aka us human beings, are also creators. And this is something that needs to be created in the world. So you, little idea, go out there and find your creator. Find your creator. Because I'm God and I have things to do. But let's use one of these humans to create you. So these little ideas float around, and they come and visit you. And that is almost how an idea comes into your head. You're sitting and all of a sudden this little bloop, bloop, this little, and you're like, oh, it's just all of a sudden there. These ideas come because they're looking to see, are you going to be the one that's disciplined enough, courageous enough? Are you going to be my host? Are you going to bring me into the world? And here's what I want you to understand. Because these ideas come from God, you're not working alone. These ideas coming from God means that when you put your best foot forward to make the idea happen, God is also going to say, oh, we got a host. We got a creator. Let's provide and support. Let me try to organize some things to make sure that this host, that this creator can successfully bring this idea to life. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be tough. I'm going to need this creator to stick it out, but I'm here. And I'm here. And as long as they keep coming to me and as long as they keep believing and know that they were chosen for this idea for a reason, I'm going to help them see it through. On the other hand, when we don't say yes to the idea, let's say we decide, no, I'm not going to be the host. I don't have time. I can't do it, right? What do we tell ourselves? I don't have enough money. I don't know how. I don't have time. I'm not good enough. No one will buy this from me, right? We tell ourselves all these different things as reasoning why we should not take on the idea. So the idea might stick around with us for a year, 2 years and say, all right, let me just wait. But God is going to say, you know what? You've been reassigned. I need you to go find another host who's going to see this through because this idea has to come. This has to be created. And so what happens is that idea gets reassigned to someone else. That idea gets reassigned to someone else. And that other person may decide, I'm gonna do it. I don't have all the tools. Maybe they have a little more tools than you. But they're going to be the ones who decide, I'm going to bring this forward. And so we don't want to live a life where our ideas are constantly being reassigned. I want you to build a life so memorable and so amazing and a business so beautiful for you that it is a representation of the idea that landed on top of your head. But if we constantly tell ourselves these lies that we're not good enough, that we can't do it, that it's not the right time, that there isn't any way, then every single idea that comes to us for us to be the potential host is going to keep getting reassigned because we keep saying we're not ready. But why would God send the idea to you in the first place if you weren't ready to receive it? You see, one thing I need you all to understand is whatever your circumstance looks like right now doesn't mean that you're not ready to take the next step. It just means that God is waiting for you to believe that He's going to give you the tools necessary to be able to take the next step. My husband trying to sign language to me. I'm like, don't be messing up my message. Bye. That's what I need you guys to understand. You may not have the tools, quote unquote, that you believe you need at this very time in order to bring this message, this idea through. But God wants to see, do you have the courage? Do you have the discipline? Do you have the faith? Do you have the excitement? Do you have even just a little inkling of belief to say, you know what? I may not have everything I need right now, but I know that what I need is coming. I know that what I need is on the way. I know that if I ask God enough and I keep working towards it, I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it. That is where we have to live. That is where you start to see results come. And I feel like this is just so important, and I'm feeling, as an entrepreneur myself and a business coach, I love encouraging people to start businesses, not only for the money that they can make, but truly for the person that you become. And where I see myself taking my brand and where I see myself taking what I talk about is not only to be in it for the money, because the money is actually not the hard part, but to be in this for the creator that you become, to be in this for the potential that you start to realize about yourself, to be in this for who you are going to be able to be and how that person is going to inspire an entire next generation of people, whether that's your children, whether that's people in your neighborhood, whether that's just 5,000 people who follow you on Instagram, right? You've got to realize that there is so much more behind going after your goals than just money. When you step up and become the person that God has intended you to be, you give permission for someone else to do the same thing. You break a pattern of generational trauma and generational limitations that have existed specifically in our communities for hundreds and hundreds of years. When you finally decide, you know what? I'm gonna do it. And it may not get all the likes, and it may not get all the sales right away, and it may not be this huge viral sensation, but I'm going to do it because I'm going to free me from the disease of inadequacy. I'm going to free myself from feeling like there are things I cannot do. You need to go out there and make these ideas happen so that you can free yourself first. Because so much of the time we're holding ourselves back from making this idea happen because we have somewhere, somehow learned a lie that told us we can't do it. We have learned a lie that has made us believe we should doubt ourselves. We have learned a lie that has made us think someone else on social media or wherever is better than we are. So your first step is to unlearn the lie. And who lies, right? The enemy. Does God lie? No. Does God make you feel small? No. Does God limit you? No. Does God tell you this is too big of a goal, this is too big of a dream? No. Do not keep letting your ideas get reassigned. Do not keep feeling as though this is all you'll ever be. I want you to see bigger. Y'all comment the word bigger in the chat. I want you to see bigger. I want you to believe bigger. I want you to go bigger. I want you to work bigger. I want you to fight bigger. I want you to do all the things bigger. I want you to pray bigger. I want you to ask bigger. You really have to understand that we get to come here one time. And that's why God gave me that stomach infection. Because he was like, girl, do you really understand that you are living things you used to be on your knees praying and crying to me for, and now you're here and you still have the audacity to complain and have an attitude? Well, let me just make you understand how quickly all this can go the opposite way. How quickly it can all change. And when you are not well, right? And I don't wish sickness or illness on anyone, but being in a hospital is a confined space. And all you can think about in that moment is getting out. That's all you can think about. All you can think about. I didn't think anything about, I wish I could go spend my money. No, what I thought about was, I wish I could go see my kids. I want to go lay in my bed. I want to eat regular food. I want to just be. I want to just have my life. And so those are the things that we always have to put first. Think about, what would you be super grateful for when you could only, like, what would you ask for when you could only get one thing? What would you be super grateful for if you were ill and couldn't have anything else? It's always going to be the opportunity to get up, to go out, to try something, to be with your family, to believe in yourself. Every old person says that they regret not doing something, whether it was pursuing an idea, whether it was going after a person, whether it was getting a different job. So you've really got to think about, while you have the opportunity right now, why would you hold yourself back? While you can do it now, this is the time to do it now. This is the time to go after it now. This is the time to say, you know what? I really want to create this swimsuit line. I have this idea about a, modest, covered up swimsuit. I'm going to do it. Because you have to free yourself from the idea that you can't make it happen. Until you free yourself from the chains of your own limitation, you are always going to be running in the same circle of, God help me change my life. I don't really know if I can. God help me change my life. I don't really know if I can. God, I want to pray for this. God gives it to you. Now you're back at, I still don't have enough. Until you free yourself from that cycle by deciding to radically jump and say yes to that idea, and say yes to yourself, and say yes to your discipline, and say yes to your consistency, you're going to stay on that hamster wheel. And I don't think that's where we want to stay. I know I don't want to stay there. I know I don't want to stay there. And, I feel like for me, being here in Senegal has really made me come face to face with how different my life is. Just 3 years ago, I was literally living in my mom's living room with 4 kids. Just 3 years ago. Not that long, 3.5, right? 3.5 years ago. And it's really made me see, like, wow, this is different. And even in having it, was still ungrateful, was still wanting more, was still complaining. And it wasn't until that wake-up call on November 1st, basically getting admitted into the hospital, that I was like, oh, okay. There's nothing wrong with continuing to want to succeed, but always make sure that it's coming from a place of gratitude and not greed. Because greed is a disease. Greed is a function of ingratitude. Greed is a function of inadequacy. Ambition can definitely go alongside gratitude, but greed means that you're just not grateful for it, and you just want more. I want you to recognize that the set of tools and resources that you have available to you right now is all that you need to go from point A to B. You see, sometimes we're asking God to give me all of this, give me the people, give me the funds, give me the connections, give me all of this first, and then I'll start. But God is like, doesn't work like that. I need you to start with what you have now, because I want to make sure that you are really able to carry the responsibility of seeing this idea through. Start with what you have now, and then once you start, my job is to make sure that the next things you need come into play. So instead of waiting because you don't have enough, always know that starting with what you have is enough. You are enough. I want y'all to comment that in the chat. Comment, I am enough. I am enough. You are enough. And God needs to see that you know that before he gives you more. You have to start with what is available to you, and then God will give you more ingredients. Then God will give you more tools, more resources. This is, it's a snowball effect. When you start with the little bit that you have, it starts to gain momentum. Then you start to get more. Now you're really working. Now you've got the connections. Now you're growing. And all in that time, you have to continue to practice gratitude and a belief in yourself. That's something we'll definitely have to talk about in our next More Money Monday, is how success can sometimes cause you to think differently about yourself. But I want to tell you guys in advance, even before you hit your 6 figures, your 7 figures, your 8 figures, I want you to have a rock solid core belief in the goodness that you are, so that success and money and the enemy will not try to tell you that you're not good enough to keep going. Because you are. If you were good enough to start, you're good enough to finish. I need to write that down. If you were good enough to start, you are good enough to finish. If God says this person can do it, he's going to help you see it all the way through. All the way through. All the way through. Okay. Yeah, we got a lot to talk about. So that's basically, 3 weeks of More Money Mondays that I really had to soul search, because I had to make sure that I knew what my lesson was, so I could come and make sure that you guys receive the message in the right way. I could have come on here and given a More Money Monday and didn't actually feel connected to what I was saying because I hadn't learned the lesson yet. But God was like, no, you need to learn this lesson, as harsh as it may be, because it's your job to make sure that the people in your community, the people that I have allowed to be in your space, that you're giving them good, important, accurate information, guidance. So our key takeaways from today: you are living at least one prayer that you used to pray, at least one. And for that, you have so many reasons to be grateful. In addition to that, do not let your ideas get reassigned. As scary as it may seem to pursue it, as hard as it may be to pursue it, you have to free yourself from the shackles of inadequacy. You have to free yourself from the shackles of self-doubt. The more that you keep telling yourself you can't do it, guess what? God can't pull you up out of that unless you finally say, you know what? You keep sending me these ideas. Maybe today is the day I say yes. Maybe today is the day I get consistent. Maybe today is the day I put a positive image of myself in front of a negative one. Instead of telling yourself you can't do it, tell yourself that you can. I have one more thing. This is something I did when I was in the hospital. I want you guys to, if you have a notebook, right now I just have my piece of paper because my notebook's over there. But I want you to essentially write, I wouldn't call it a letter, but I want you to write a statement, okay? And so what this looks like is it's you writing in the present tense to yourself as the successful version of yourself that you want to be. Okay, so you're basically writing all the things that you see yourself as in the present tense. So you're saying, you know, today was a great day. I am running the 7-figure company I've always wanted. I am taking care of my family. My bills are paid. You know, my bills are on auto pay. I am creating content and connecting with my customers and my audience. I am having the opportunity to, you know, go into meetings with companies who want to buy my business. I have $25 million offers on the table. I am representing the type of woman or man I've always wanted to be. I am attracting great partners who are going to help me get to that next level, etc., etc., etc. Are y'all picking up what I'm putting down? So you're writing this to yourself, as yourself, the version that you want to be. So instead of saying, I will have a 7-figure company, you're saying in this letter, I'm so happy and grateful. Today was a great day because I have this 7-figure company and we made $100,000 today. We sold out for Black Friday. This weekend, I'm going to buy my mom a new car just because of how well the company is doing. I want you to write in the voice of how a great day could be when you have achieved the potential that you know you have in you. Write the letter from that space and read it every single day. Because one thing about our minds is, and one thing about faith is, whether what's on that paper is real or not, your brain, your faith has no choice but to believe it based on how much you believe it. And so what ends up happening is the more that you believe it, the more that you connect yourself to this highest potential version of what you can achieve, things are going to start lining up to help you actually make that a reality. I need you guys to understand, God is in your favor. Abundance is in your favor. Everything wants to give you what you want. You just have to decide, are you willing to commit to that vision instead of the vision that's been keeping you in the same place? Are you willing to commit to the vision of having it all instead of committing to the vision of not having enough? That is a decision that you have to make. Because both visions can become real. You can believe in not having enough and always struggling and always just being quite almost there. Or you can believe in having it all and doing the things you've dreamed of and going after it. And that vision can become a reality too. I love y'all. And I feel like we really need to have this More Money Monday. So one thing I do want to say is, I am retiring all my courses. Yes, all my courses, business credit, grants, Airbnb, business plan, lender's list, the list of 900 grants, and so many others. I'm retiring them because I feel for me to start 2024, I want to start with a clean slate, fresh products, new information, just an elevated experience. And God said, in order to start with the new, you have to let go of the old. And my classes are great. These are my best sellers, but they will be gone after Black Friday. So I'm doing like a crazy deal. I don't even know how to show y'all the picture. I am literally doing like a crazy deal where I am giving you guys bundle access to all of my classes. So instead of buying each one, you're going to get all 5 of those. Those are all $297 each, those classes, but you're going to get all 5 for $297. So That's like, what is that's like $40 per course. And they're normally $300. But you're gonna get all of them, all 5 for 1 for $297. So this is a big deal, and it's definitely a great way for you to end the year, for us to end the year. I want you to have these bestsellers. If you've had an eye on my classes, if you've wanted to get more than one, but you've been like, well, I don't know, I'm gonna wait. This is your opportunity to literally get all of them in one place at one time for one price. And I'm really excited about it because, you know, over almost 70,000 people have bought these courses. My business credit has been my #1 bestseller since 2020. AIRBNB has been a bestseller since 2021. Grants as well since 2021. Business plans since 2022. And then my lenders list was created in 2022. So almost 70,000 people have bought these. Like a little over 69,000 people have bought these classes. And I'm like, you're going to be next. But instead of you buying them individually, you get to get all 5 for 1. So the only thing you have to do right now, this link is going to drop for Black Friday, maybe a little early, okay? But in order for you to get it early, you have to join the wait list. So let me just show you guys. When you're on my page, and you can see them right here. Bestseller Blowout, all 5 for $297. Join the waitlist at the link in my bio, which is right here, okay? That's what you need to do, is join the waitlist. So when you join, you'll be first to get the link, the email, the text, so that you can get it, because yes, they will be going away. Like, this will be the last opportunity to get these, you know, these amazing classes that have helped so many people. And I'm excited for new stuff. But until the new, let's make sure that you guys each get all of these. So when you're on my page, just go to the link in my bio, join the waitlist, and the bestseller bundle will be dropping in just a few days. All right. I really hope you guys gain some value in our More Money Monday. I love coming on here and inspiring y'all and just, you know, having real conversations with you so that you know that you're not alone in this journey. You got this. You are more than capable of making all this happen. I am here to help. So if you've been struggling with your business credit, with your grants, you want to start Airbnb, you want to understand how to get funding with a business plan, you want to find lenders, now you can get all of those in one place so you can really finish 2023 strong and also start 2024 strong. All right? So join the wait list. Love y'all. Send me a DM if you have any questions, and I will see you guys in our next live.